Meow, meow, meow. Productions presents
Irene, who's walking away.
Hi guys, I'm coming back. So today we are making something super fun. We're making homemade sourdough bread, San Francisco style. We're starting off with 3.5 cups flour. Normally we would start off with 4 cups flour. Now let me tell you why. We are going to be using
Big Bertha.
which is my homemade sourdough starter. Now, if you like sourdough bread, oh, this is what's gone in it. It's got that really great slight sour flavor, that zing in the bread, and that's what we're gonna get. I made this myself. This took approximately 10 days to build. Let me explain to you what I did first of all. Sourdough starter is simply a mixture of flour and water, which is left in a slightly warm area to ferment. And every day you need to feed it. What we mean by that is you give it a little more flour and a little more warm water every day, and it actually will start to bubble. It's feeding off the flour and it's fermenting, and it's creating this beautiful starter. And once it's ready to use, you'll know, because there's like little bubbles on it. It's got that nice slight sour smell, and it can be used and kept for years. Some people have sourdough starter passed down to them for centuries. Keep it in the fridge when you're not using it, and then when you're ready to use it, you need to leave it out for about 3 days and start feeding it again, and then it's ready to use. So today we're using it. So because we're using the starter and it's got flour and water, we need to subtract that amount from our recipe. So 3.5 cups of flour instead of 4. And we're going to also measure our water and take away from what normally would go in it. So normally 13 ounces of water will go in my recipe, but I have to subtract 1/2 cup of flour, because 1 cup of starter equals 1/2 cup of water, 1/2 cup of flour. So we've already taken our 1/2 cup of flour away. So we're going to tare our scale, which means when you put something on it that's going to weigh something, you need to put it to 0. Okay? And then we're going to pour our water in to see how much it weighs. And it weighs 3 ounces and 3 7/8. Okay, so I need to take that away from my 13 ounces. So you can do the math. So that's how much water you're going to end up needing for your dough. Okay, so we're ready. So we've got our salt also measured into our flour, 2 teaspoons. We're going to prepare our yeast and water mixture. I've got my 9.5 ounces of water, which is around about, yeah, I guess that's good because I took away what went into the starter, so it's good. We're adding a tablespoon of honey to the water. Now, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of yeast. I am doing the sourdough and yeast method. Some people will just do the sourdough and hope that the rise will be just as good, and it may take longer, but I am adding yeast as well. I'm just using the sourdough starter for the flavor, basically. So 2 teaspoons of yeast, a tablespoon of honey, and a cup of starter. So we're going to add our starter to the flour. You can use, you can make starter from basically any kind of flour. I have, this one here is a combination of whole wheat and all-purpose. Even though I'm using bread flour to make the bread, it's okay. It doesn't have to be the exact same flour used in the starter. So we're going to take our water yeast mixture and dump it in there as well. And that's basically it. We're just going to knead that by hand. Okay, keep watching. Just get right in there. And I promise it will start to come together. Feels a little runny at the moment, but it's okay. Okay, it's already clumping up. Okay, so I've been kneading this and it's formed into a nice ball. Feel free to add a little extra flour. It seemed a little sticky to me, so I had to add just a little flour just on my fingers to help. And I've also added dried rosemary and some caraway seeds for flavor. So add whatever you like at this point. If you want some garlic in there, throw some garlic in there. If you want to put some cheese, you can throw some cheese. So we're ready basically for the first rise. So I'm going to oil this bowl a little bit. Just like that.
Get the cat here.
See, the dough's a little sticky, but that's okay. Just a gentle kneading at this point is all you need. After the first rise, then we'll give it a good kneading. So let's just coat that with that oil, and that's it. It looks a little rough, and that's okay. It's normal. We're gonna cover it with plastic wrap. I'm gonna put it in a nice and stable environment, which is inside the oven, and wait. Okay, we're back, and our dough has been resting for about 2 hours. Look at this beautiful dough. Look at how beautiful and airy and huge it is. It's like almost tripled in size.
Ooh, it's like Mama June's belly.
Okay, we're gonna dump this out on a floured surface, and we're going to divide it and knead it into balls, and we're going to let it rise again. So I'm going to cut this in half only. So I'm going to make one loaf of bread, well, 2 loaves of bread. One's going to be like a baguette shape, and the other one's going to be a round one, just playing around. We're going to give it a nice knead, just kind of fold it over itself a few times, just like this. This creates some nice air pockets. Just keep folding it over, give it a good knead. And we're going to do that with both the balls. And we're going to put it back into the bowl. We're going to give it a little more oil around the edge. And we're just going to do that for a couple of minutes. Let's see how nice and smooth it is. That's going to eventually be our loaf.
Smooth balls.
Just kind of folding it over itself, pressing down. Very easy. See all that nice caraway seeds and rosemary in there. Ooh, it's gonna be a yummy bread. It's gonna go good with dinner. Okay, so we have our 2 perfectly formed dough balls back in the bowl with plastic wrap. Now going back in the oven to do a second rise. Hi, we're back again. So my dough's been resting a second time, and look at how huge it is again. I mean, you can see the division, but I'm going to have, we're doing a third kneading, and this time I'm going to make them much smaller because it's going to have to fit into these baguette molds. So they're going to be quite small, and this is what we're going to be baking it in, right into a baguette mold. It's like a little Dutch oven just for baguettes. Super cool.
From France.
From France. So we're going to take our dough one more time, and we're going to this time divide it up again. It's probably going to be too big. So we're going to divide it up into, I'm going to say 4 sections again, because those are small little spots. So we're going to split this up. So I've rolled out my dough, and I've got 2 regular baguettes, 1 braided baguette. Look at me, I'm so fancy. And 1 little mini loaf. And we're going to bake all of those together. The 3 of those baguette loaves fit in that 1 cooker, and then I'll put the last one in a mini Dutch oven. Because that, to me, is the best way to bake bread, because it seals in the moisture, and you get a nice loaf of bread. Okay, so we're gonna do something different one more time. I'm gonna take one of these little baguette strip things that I rolled out, and I'm going to cut it into 3 sections, and I'm just going to flatten each one out, and I'm gonna do something fun. I'm going to fill it each layer with olives and then reform it into
So much fun.
a baguette.
So
Oh,
much
it's so much fun. I love when there's no rules in cooking. You can do whatever you want.
No rules.
No rules cooking. Okay, keep a close eye here. Watch what I'm doing. Okay, good enough. So we're taking these sliced olives and we're just going to place them on each layer. My husband loves olives in his bread, so this is why we're doing this. Me, not so much, but that's okay. Put them all in there. I have dried them off nicely, so
Just 2 strips.
yes, just the 2 strips. Fit them all in there. We'll fit them all in there. There's quite a few. Okay, so we're going to take.
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
No.
Take that one, put that on top of one of those, then pick up that and put that on top of the other. Nope, then pick up that, put that on top of there.
Hello, yeah. Hello.
There you go.
Boy,
Now pinch it up.
who's got the cooking show here? We're going to pinch this all up. Make sure there's plenty of flour. Happen on the board. Always need lots of flour. We're going to pinch. We're going to pinch. We're going to pinch and roll. It's really not about the thing, is it? So we floured our baguette cooker by Emile Henry, France. So now we're going to place our lovely baguettes in there. This is our olive one. Right inside. Oh, look at that. I'm so good. Perfect size. Next. Braided one. Isn't that nice? Oh, I knew that was going to happen. And number 3. Finished product, people. Lovely braid, our lovely olive baguettes, and our plain. Oh, I can't wait to cut it open and put some butter on there. Nice serrated knife. Oh. Oh, look at that. That looks beautiful. I'm gonna put some butter on that baby and eat it up. Which one should I cut? The braid? Look at that. Nice and soft. It's going in my mouth. Mm. Mm-hmm. My.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.